AITA for telling my roommates they shouldn't have a baby. I, 22F, have lived with my roommates, RM127F and RM230M, for nearly 3 years. They got married in May and are expecting their first baby in December. We all co-signed a lease and are still contracted another 8 months, 6 months after the baby's due. I for one adore children and even work in a child care center. My roommates have always been incredibly lazy. I cook everyone's meals, clean the dishes, vacuum, mow the lawns and pick up after their dog that is always pooing inside and gets into everything. I also agreed to an outside pet and we are not met to have any according to our lease agreement. All of our friends were excited about the pregnancy and I was at first too. But now I'm filled with dread. At this point it's important to note that RM2 hasn't held a steady job in 3 years. So they always tight on money, unless the spending benefits them. While RM1 has 2 jobs, but is always off sick. I use sick as this was an issue even before the pregnancy. There have been multiple occasions where I have had to cover their rent and groceries, and I've never been paid back. RM1 spends most of her time laying in bed, complains that she's too ill to work or help around the house, but is okay to go out 3 nights a week and continues to play weekend sports. And RM2 always has an excuse to why he's not helping or we'll get to it later. As a result, I'm completely burnt out from maintaining the house, working 2 jobs, studying and looking after my 27 to 30-year-old children. Whenever someone offers them any advice or assistance during the pregnancy they'll reply, but OP will help with the baby. And the closer it gets to baby's due date, the more they shift the responsibility of their unborn child onto me. OP will babysit, OP will buy this, that, etc. And the comment that pushed me over the edge was, if we're too tired we'll move the cot into OP's room, she can deal with it. To which I replied they shouldn't have a baby when they can't look after themselves, and that I refused to responsible for their kid. This made RM1 cry, but I don't feel bad, it was long overdue to be said, but they're now mad at me saying that I'm too young to know the stress of having kids. Half our mutual friends are on my side, and the other half are just mad that I said it, rather about what I said. Am I the jerk? The easiest solution would be to move out, but currently everything in my area is out of my price range. I've even applied for a few places on my own but am unfortunately unsuccessful due to lack of rental history, and the one I do have is ruined due to their dog being inside, despite countless efforts to move him into the yard. Update: I've had a lot of comments so I'll post to answer as many questions as possible. My cooking was never meant to be for everyone. I would offer if there were plenty of leftovers or if it was a planned meal for the house. They were supposed to do dishes after but never would. For the main part one would cook my own meals, but they would always eat my leftovers or use my ingredients before I could. And to the burn, I've never seen them cook anything so I don't know what they use my food for. They usually order out. I've now resulted to living on girl dinners. I cook myself food that doesn't require much effort or ingredients, nuggets, pies, pizzas, pastas. I don't make leftovers, which has led to me now not eating at work as I don't have food for lunches. RM1 and I both work at the same daycare. RM1 is actually my manager. Which I think is why I've put up with this for so long, as I worried about creating tension at work, and I love my job. This also means I don't leave lunches as work, as she has helped herself to those in the past as well. We moved in together as my roommates were living with RM1's parents and I had been homeless, living out of my car and couch surfing for 7 months at 18. I'd previously lived with my mother, 6 younger siblings, and abusive stepfather. I grew up raising myself and my siblings, which is probably why I'm easy manipulated into looking after others that aren't my responsibility. This whole situation has been so stressful for me, and still value them as friends but don't want to live with them anymore. Our original plan was find someone cheaper together that they could afford on their own, but this morning I've told them they need to find a place for the 2 of them and I'll look for my own.